If you're looking for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance products, you need to go to ashkickin.com.
Hi, I'm Angie and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So after Lomachenko passed his most difficult challenge, his most difficult test in stopping Linares, Bob Arum and Team Lomachenko, they don't think it's a good idea for them to face Mikey Garcia next. Now, one of the first things Bob Arum said is Ray Beltran is the obvious next opponent for Lomachenko. Then he goes into talking about Mikey Garcia. He says Mikey Garcia is a worse negotiation than Trump is going to have with the North Koreans because of the way that Garcia negotiates. Oh, I'm loyal to Espinoza and I'm loyal to Showtime. I admire loyalty. If he's loyal to Showtime and they've been good to him, let him be loyal to Showtime. Just don't bother me. Lomachenko wants to fight often. We have all these dates on ESPN. With a Mikey Garcia fight, it becomes the second coming to Mayweather-Pacquiao. The negotiations will go on. I'm tired of that. We want to fight. Let him call me. I'll give him a number. If it's not good, fuck it. I ain't negotiating. End quote from Bob Arum. Boy, I'm going to tell you right now, there is a whole lot to unpack when it comes to everything that Bobby just said right there. But I'll start with saying this. Old Bobby is starting to sound like Abel Sanchez right now. That's right. Because if you recall, just recently, Golovkin's trainer, Abel Sanchez, he just said that it is no longer a priority to unify the belts. Which, keep in mind, that was the main objective since day one. That had always been priority, was to unify the belts. But now, coincidentally, now that their mandatories are Lomachenko, Danny Jacobs, now all of a sudden it's no longer a priority to unify the belts. And you know what Abel Sanchez said that was damn near analogous to what Bob just said? Golovkin's trainer just recently said, unifying the belts is no longer the priority. The priority now is to stay active. And Bob Arum, you just heard him say, it's more important for Lomachenko to fight often, to stay active, to stay busy, because this is exactly what Abel said. They want to keep Golovkin busy. Now, for Team Golovkin, staying busy, that meant facing competition like Vanes Manarosian, maybe Murata, and not facing competition like Jamal Charlo, Sergey Derevyanchenko, a rematch, a Danny Jacobs rematch. So now you hear Bob Arum, he's basically saying it's more important that Lomachenko fight more often. And what that means is not fighting Mikey Garcia, but fighting Ray Beltran, a fight that we know would obviously be a much, much, much easier fight than Mikey Garcia for Vasyl Lomachenko. And Bob Arum, he understands this as well. You guys have to understand something about Bobby. Bob is smarter than you think when it comes to matchmaking, when it comes to him knowing what are the chances of his fighter winning or losing. Bob Arum understands, just like we all understand, that Mikey Garcia would be a difficult fight for Lomachenko to win. Bob understands after watching Lomachenko's performance against Linares. Now, what's really interesting about Bob Arum's reaction to how Lomachenko looked against Linares, usually when a fighter steps up in competition, it becomes harder for him to get opponents in the ring because he dominated a certain opponent, right? For example, when you watch what Errol Spence did to Kell Brook, and then what Errol Spence did to Lamont Peterson, that deters fighters from getting in the ring with him. But when it comes to this situation with Lomachenko versus Linares, it's the opposite effect. Because now you have more fighters that are going to be willing to get in the ring with Lomachenko. And credit to Lomachenko, even Loma said this himself. Loma said, me getting knocked down by Linares, that was great promoting on my part. To me, I took that as he meant, now this means more people are going to want to fight him because they see that he is mortal, okay? He has vulnerabilities like everyone does. But going back to my original point with Bob Arum knowing more about boxing than people think, I remember, I'll never forget when he was promoting Nonito Donaire. Before Donaire lost to Rigo, years before Donaire agreed to fight Rigo, I remember Bob Arum said in an interview, he said, Donaire, you think he's not going to beat these guys? He's not going to beat all of these guys, Rigondo, and he named some other fighters. He said he may beat some of them, but he's certainly not going to beat them all. But when he said that, you could tell because he was really putting a lot of emphasis on a Donaire versus Rigo fight. It could be argued that Bob Arum, he indirectly predicted that Rigo would beat his fighter Donaire if they ever were to face against each other, and he was right. Because that's exactly what happened. So Bob, you know, he's looking at this Mikey Garcia situation as a very difficult fight for Lomachenko to win. But that doesn't make Lomachenko look good if Lomachenko has to be protected from the best fighters in the division. Because there's no doubt about it, as far as I'm concerned, Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter, those are the best fighters at 135. Now, something else that I wanted to touch on, something that Bob Arum said, he tried to compare this situation to Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. That's not even apples and oranges, that is apples and rocks. You cannot compare the two. Because first of all, when it comes to that fight, Floyd Mayweather agreed to all of Manny Pacquiao's terms. It was Manny Pacquiao that refused to take an Olympic-style drug test. That's the reason why that fight didn't happen. In fact, I actually have the interview I did with Freddie Roach, and I'll put the link in the description box, where Freddie Roach, if I forget to put the link in the description box, all you guys have to do is just search in the YouTube search bar, search Freddie Roach Admits. And as soon as you type that in, my video will pop up. Freddie Roach Admits, and you could probably put Freddie Roach Admits that it was Manny Pacquiao's fault or something like that. The video will pop up, just in case I forget to add it to the description box. In that interview, Freddie Roach, he says, it was our fault that the fight didn't happen in 2008 because Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take the drug test. This is what he said in the interview. And then later on in that same interview, he made so many damn admissions. He said, the truth is, I believe Bob Arum always wanted the Manny Pacquiao fight. He wanted the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight to be Manny Pacquiao's very last fight. This is what Freddie Roach said, okay? So you cannot compare the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation to the Mikey Garcia situation. Something else you have to look at and notice. You guys notice how Bob Arum, he continues to say it'll be too difficult to negotiate with Mikey Garcia. He'll probably want more money and this and that, and oh, he's too loyal to Showtime Steven Espinoza, etc., etc., etc. When you hear someone say they don't even want to negotiate, they don't even want to entertain the idea of Lomachenko facing Mikey Garcia, that's when you know that Bob Arum is saying, I got to keep my fighter away from Mikey Garcia. Because after what I just watched in that Linares fight, Loma may not be ready for that type of step up in competition, certainly at a higher weight class. We know that's the translation. But if that is the case, if you're considered pound for pound, top 3, one of the best fighters in the world, there is no such thing as you not being ready for everyone, certainly in your own division, right? Now, I could see if we were asking him to move up 2 weight classes and fight Errol Spence, but we're talking about facing someone in his own division, and he just stopped Linares. So clearly, he's acclimating to the weight, to the new weight, I should say. So clearly, once again, from that statement, from what Bob just said right there, he does not believe Lomachenko is ready for a Mikey Garcia fight. And quite frankly, Lomachenko himself, he must not believe he's ready either, because he hasn't come out and said, I want to make this fight next. I want the Mikey Garcia fight. I don't care what Bob Arum says. I'm telling you guys, I personally want the fight next. That's how you let it be known to the public that you want the fight. Your promoter may have a different agenda, but you want the fight. Now that's what Lomachenko would do if that's how he felt. But this is not how Lomachenko feels, so we're not going to hear him come out and say anything like that. What you're going to hear if you interview him and ask is the norm. We'll fight one day. We'll fight one day. Yeah, I do. Of course I want the fight. We'll fight one day. Him say, I told my promoter, I want this fight next. Make the fight. Okay? I told you guys already. When Canelo Alvarez decided to fight Edeslani Lara, Canelo went against his promoter's wishes, which is Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar admitted he did not want Canelo to take that fight. And Canelo told his promoter, make the damn fight, Oscar. This is the fight I want next. You don't think Lomachenko could do the same thing? Of course Loma could do the same thing. And even if he couldn't, even if Bob was obstructing the possible Mikey Garcia Lomachenko fight, Loma could easily come out once again by telling the public, I told my promoter, I want this fight next. I want Mikey Garcia next. Let's see if he does that. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. What's going on, y'all? Brooklyn, New York. It's going down. We out here for the Wilder versus Ortiz fight. It should be a great fight. Once again, I'm loving it out here in Brooklyn, New York, from Las Vegas, Long Beach to Brooklyn.